Hi everyone, I'd like to share with you this evening a few thoughts on 2 Chronicles chapter 20. It's not a book of the Bible that I must say I'm particularly well versed in, but during the first week of lockdown I had one of those brilliant, amazing moments where I just sat down with my Bible and kind of asked God to open it at a good page, and it fell open at 2 Chronicles 20 and I was amazed, and it just seemed really timely. So I'd like to show you that I tried reading out the whole chapter and it took a whole 5 minutes. So I hope you'll forgive me if I don't read out the chapter and I save your time and you'll permit me paraphrasing a little. But 2 Chronicles 20, with King Jehoshaphat. 2 Chronicles is one of the history books in the Old Testament and goes through a slew of kings of Judah from Solomon up to when Jerusalem fell to Babylon. And chapter 20 we're with Jehoshaphat, who was really strong and committed to the Lord at the beginning of his rule and did really well, and then got into a bit of a dubious alliance with King Ahab, but swiftly got back on track. And chapter 20, though, he's in a bit of trouble, and all the surrounding nations have declared war on Judah, and he is terrified. We hear in verse 3, he was terrified, and he begged the Lord for guidance. So he orders, his first plan of action is to order all the people of Judah to begin fasting, and then all the people of all the towns come together to seek God's help. And Jehoshaphat stands before the people in front of the temple of the Lord, and he prays in verse 6 through 12. A few of his prayers are, O Lord, you alone are the God in heaven. You are the ruler of all the kingdoms of the earth. You are powerful and mighty. No one can stand against you. Your people who built this temple said, whenever we are faced with any calamity, such as war, plague, or famine, we can come and stand here in your presence. We can cry out to you to save us, and you will hear us and rescue us. O God, we are powerless against this mighty army. We do not know what to do, but we are looking to you for help. And as all the men of Judah stood before the Lord with their little ones, their wives, and their children, everyone was there from the kingdom, praying. The Spirit of the Lord came upon one of the men. Can you imagine? And God said to this man, do not be afraid, do not be discouraged by this mighty army, for the battle is not yours, but God's. March out against your enemy, but you will not have to fight. Stand still and watch the Lord's victory. He's with you. And King Jehoshaphat and all the people bowed down, and they worshipped and they praised with a shout. They prayed. They came together as one, every single person, man, woman, child, baby. They prayed, they bowed down, and they praised. And on their way into battle the next day, Jehoshaphat encouraged his people, believe in the Lord your God, and you will be able to stand firm. He appointed singers to go ahead of them, to go ahead of the army, not soldiers, but singers, to walk ahead, singing and praising. And you know what they sang? They sang, give thanks to the Lord, his faithful love endures forever. I never realised that's where the Chris Tomlin song Forever came from. Give thanks to the Lord, his faithful love endures forever. Sing praise, sing praise. And verse 22, as soon as they began to sing and praise God, the armies against them, their enemies, began to fight each other. All were vanquished without the army of Judah having to raise a finger. And they went home, overjoyed and singing praise still. The other armies saw what had happened, and the fear of God came over them and all the surrounding kingdoms. And Jehoshaphat's kingdom, Judah, was at peace. Verse 30. Wow. Well, I was overwhelmed. I mean, just what a passage. I was really encouraged. And I wonder, do we need to be bolder as a community and a people of Christ in our praise and worship during times of crisis? Looking back over times of crisis and troubles in my own life, I know that even though I know praying and praising and worshipping God is what I need to be doing and should be doing, blasting out worship songs often is the last thing I feel like doing. Crises can bring out questions in us. We start to question the goodness of God, the fairness of awful situations. You can start to feel upset and cross with God. I know I can. And then praise and worship doesn't come to the top of our list. I don't feel like singing praise songs when I'm feeling cross and upset with God. No matter how unjustified my feelings are. And I know all the time that actually what I need to be doing is praising and worshipping. But instead I tend to wallow in my pain, my confusion, and my fear. Self-pity almost. But Jehoshaphat didn't. He didn't wallow. He got straight on his knees. He brought his people together, and all the people praised. They praised, even though they were facing a huge battle. They praised, they sang worship. And that moment comes in all of our, for me anyway, when I'm not feeling it praising, and then finally I give in, and I turn on the radio and I pick my favourite song, worship song, and I finally give in to that, and suddenly everything shifts. And even though the battles may still rage on, the world does become brighter and more manageable. When I trust and believe that the wars and the battles are his to be won, not mine. I just need to stay true to him, stay close to him, and to keep praying and praising.